Still got that 2020 vision, even though it's now 2021.
True North Review, True North Reviews, True North Reviews.
Hey there, welcome to True North Reviews. My name is Ryan, and today we are continuing list season 2020. We've already got the worst songs out of the way. I figured it'd only be fitting to talk about the worst albums next. I promise you, the light is coming. The best songs and albums, those are on their way. But for now, we all know typically the worst of videos do better analytically. You guys seem to eat up the negativity. So enjoy this video, I guess, in a weird way. The albums are linked below. Make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe if you're new in town, and share your thoughts in the comments. Pretty basic list we got here today. The rules are simple. If I heard an album that came out in 2020 at least twice and I thought it was crap and just riled me up in some emotional way that is bad, you guessed it, it's on here. All right, starting with number 10. It pains me because I am a massive fan, but Green Day, Father of All. Now, as much as I'd love to give my favorite band a free pass, they aren't getting one from me this year, and there's a very good reason why. What was supposed to be a pure, uncut rock album free of features and Swedish songwriters, all these tropes that Green Day tried so hard to go against the grain, they just got in so far that they missed their mark, their entire point of a good rock record. Doubled down in their beliefs of entry-level 2000s rock, they made an album that is markedly an identity crisis. Yeah, this is honestly the equivalent to a 40-year-old man going through a midlife crisis. Playing this record even more since my initial review, the singles that I originally enjoyed, they aren't even sticking with me anymore. I find myself cringing and confused how I can even understand that this is a Green Day record. They simply don't sound like themselves, and as much as new sounds and direction are required for artistic evolution, this is not one I could sit through and replay to myself a full time through while making this list. Such a shame when Green Day have such a legacy on so many amazing albums, and I surely hope, and I kind of know that they will bounce back from this one, but sorry, Green Day, you gotta take an L in 2020. Fire ready, aim, more like misfire, not ready, miss. Next up at number 9 is Justin Bieber's Changes, an R&B album that was pretty forgettable at best. Kind of sad when it was put out by one of the biggest artists of the past decade, but I digress. Changes is an updated version to JB 5 years after Purpose, and his voice has not improved. In fact, I'd say it's only gotten more nasal in tone. The production that backs him has gotten to be dull and uninteresting as well. Essentially, JB is mirroring himself to the recent trends of R&B, but putting in as little effort as possible elsewhere with melody, performance, and songwriting. There may be a couple tracks that are decent, but by no means is this a cohesive project that demands your attention on every Valentine's Day like it was originally released. A love album, kind of cliched, kind of boring, but you get the point. Number 8 goes to 5 Seconds of Summer and their record, Calm. Ugh. Too many songs on here had horrible singing, so bad that the falsettos were more often than not shrill, piercing, and noticeably out of tune. The influences on this project too, just so obvious, uninspired, everything just worn on the sleeve with no second thought having to be given. I've ripped apart this record enough in my straight and to the point review, so if you're at all interested in a dedicated video, go check that one out, but this is not a good record at all. Moving on to number 7, we have the incredibly tedious and boring album by Party Next Door, Party Mobile. Canadian singer and songwriter Party Next Door is an artist signed to OVO Sound. You're most likely familiar with some of his collabs with Drake on a handful of his projects. Party Next Door has his own music too. I checked it out after enjoying a couple of those features on Drake's music, but what lightning in a bottle they strike in collaboration. It's safe to say that Party Next Door does not have enough interesting ideas for him to replicate that success alone. The experience I had listening to this album for the first time rushes back to me like it was yesterday, but my god, I think it was 8 or maybe 9 songs in for me to finally land on one that I thought was worth staying awake for. Sadly, not even the Rihanna feature was anything to write home about, just a comatose, flat, and lifeless R&B album. Simple as that. Speaking of simplicity, this next record is just about as simple as it gets for a pop album. Zack Brown's The Controversy is ringing in at number 6 on my worst albums of 2020 list. Zack Brown, typically an artist I respect, but recently the praise has been hard to come by. I did not enjoy the latest Zack Brown Band record last year, and this new solo project, man, it ain't cutting it either. Honestly, worse off than The Owl. From the pandered songwriting to the heavily generic production and watered down performance, this is an album that goes in one ear and out the other while frustrating me unbelievably so. I don't know how we got to the point where Zack Brown is phoning it in, but long gone are the days of chicken fried, and I'm going to miss them. What I won't miss this year, or any year for that matter though, since the 1990s, is Smashing Pumpkins. For some strange reason, they thought 2020 would be a good time to return on their record Seer, and my god was it not. Over 70 minutes long, this album just regurgitates the same synth pop and alt-rock song ad nauseum. And cool, you might be thinking, wow, synth pop, maybe Smashing Pumpkins can drum up something new or different here. No, this is Billy Corgan writing the same synth pop song as if he didn't know what the hell he was doing. I get the feeling he was either trying to convince himself or his bandmates that he knew how to write a song other than the formula they stuck to in the 90s. Frankly, Smashing Pumpkins, just wait until you have something good before you come back. I beg you. Please and thanks. Moving on to number 4 is another solo artist project. It seems like Zack Brown and Corey Taylor were on the same page in 2020. Yes, this next pick goes to CMFT, the debut solo album from Slipknot and Stone Sour's Corey Taylor. Everything you did not want from Corey Taylor is on this album. Generic-ass riffage on guitar, plainly written hard rock infused with blues and country. It's music that just begs for your dad rockin', boomer stompin', rah 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 kind of energy. So many disgusting songs on this album. I laugh at a good number of them. One exception being Black Eyes Blue. That song goes hard. A singular moment on this album I mess with, but everything else is just unnecessary. Number 3. Ironically not looking for the good anymore. This spot goes to Jason Mraz and his record, Look for the Good. Arguably, I think Jason has some good songs in his back catalog, but this is a project that surely will add none to that list. If his intentions were to write the same song with interchangeable grooves and eye-rolling lyrics, he succeeded, but if his goals were to write a memorable and well-crafted reggae album, he failed miserably. Nothing like these top 2 picks, honestly good reason to dislike both, but we've got a pair of country albums that separate themselves from the rest of this list, not only because the songs are trash, but the artists. They make me question their integrity and rather their character as they sing on these albums. At number 2 is Sam Hunt's Southside. I honestly forgot this album came out in 2020, and I'm not saying that to compliment its timeless qualities. You know, nothing ages like fine wine like bro country does, right? Wrong. So wrong that the snap beats and manipulative lyrics all over this thing just get right under my skin and drive me insane. What started off with a half-decent acoustic ballad on 2016, Sam quickly descends into poor singing, macho platitudes, and an insulting offering of country, or whatever the hell you want to call this. Southside leaves a sour taste in my mouth. The aesthetics and ideas on this project are just so god-awful and tacky. And then we were left with number 1, the worst album of 2020. It is hard to imagine what could be worse, but then again, in similar vein, we have Luke Bryan on Born Here, Live Here, Die Here. In this spot for the same reason why Sam is number 2, but taken to that next level because It is dumbed down to the infinite degree. While Sam's record may be obnoxious and unlikable, Luke's is just oblivious and nonsensical, as if it was trying to be humorous. Take one quick look at the track list of Born Here, Live Here, Die Here, and that's only a sliver of an indication of what you're in for. From the faux emotional build me a daddy to the outdated reference that is knockin' boots, Luke Bryan crafts one hell of an album when you think about it. He wrote, or at least gave guidance to what he wanted to be written in a series of country mad libs. Add to that terrible melodies and a lack of artistic growth, and you have a winning combination. At least a win for the worst album of 2020. So there you have it. Those are my picks for the worst albums of 2020. That concludes the negative portion of list season. Be on the lookout for the positive and bright side of things coming with the best EPs, songs, and albums. But for now, make sure you guys sound off down below in the comments. Tell me what you guys think of this list. Share some of your picks for the worst songs of 2020. If you'd like to leave a like, subscribe if you're new in town, I'd appreciate that as always. Thanks for watching and have a rockin' day.